Well, let me tell you something, Hulkamaniacs. You all need to head over to brosretropins.co.uk, brother, and check out the WWF Hasbro enamel pins we have for sale, dude. We ship anywhere in the world, brother, and we've got Jake the Snake Roberts, the Ultimate Warrior, me, the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan, brother, and many more available right now. So what you gonna do when brosretropins.co.uk runs wild over you, brother?
Hello, and welcome to the UltraViolent Rest Hold podcast. Presented by Dane and Dougie. Sit back, relax and enjoy the utter shite that they will talk about for the next hour or so. It will be the absolute drizzling shits.
No, because Dusty Rhodes is dead.
So could you say allegedly Michael Hayes?
So this is the Ultraviolent Rest Hold, the worst podcast on the internet.
Yeah, I am, by admission, Dougie Douglas, an angry person.
Vader has a tiny penis.
He looks a little bit like a turkey.
If it weren't for them 1PW shows, I wouldn't be into wrestling now.
I would have fallen out with that bit controversial and then just tripped up at the end.
They would just drop the fag bomb at the end. Hello and welcome to the Ultraviolent Rest Hold podcast. Crappiest podcast on the internet. I'm Danny, along with
Dougie Douglas, and today we have a very special guest, a professional broadcaster, DJ, not in the Alan Ford sense of the word, the acid house, boom, 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 hardly any words, mainly music, Fatboy Slim type, fully trained wrestling referee, native son of Beverley, family man and all-round good guy, Steve Lazenby.
Well, that's just built me up now. I've got to live up to that. Alan Ford as well. There's a name I haven't heard in a long while.
Yeah, I know. That's the last time I went out.
Was it? Well, thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be here. And the Ultraviolent Rest Hold podcast.
Hey!
Is that what you go with then? The crappiest podcast on the...
it's pretty crap.
Well, I've been involved in some of the crappiest radio shows on the planet, so we're in good company with each other, I think.
Not just the worst, but the most unpopular as well.
Oh yeah, we're like 4 people listening, so it's just something to do in it.
Yeah. So never mind.
Oh well.
Subject number 1, Dan. What we're going for?
This bet we have with Hogan and Ric Flair. Between me and you, with 50p bet.
Yeah.
You'll have to explain to me what this is.
Right. Basically, me and my dad have a 50p bet on who's going to die first, Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan.
That's right.
But whoever dies first, then they get Vince McMahon.
The bet rolls over. It's a £5 bet.
I thought it was 50p.
No, it's £5. It's £5 bet, and then so whoever dies first between Hogan and Flair gets the £5. Then it rolls over. So you've got an opportunity of breaking even or winning £10 English. Anybody who thinks that's sick betting on anybody's demise, especially legends in wrestling, I'll just point out that if one me or Dan die before them, we'll be donating that money to said wrestlers, so it's fair. And hopefully, we should really send it to Ric Flair, because out of them 3, he needs the money the most, doesn't he? So
well, Hogan's got his Gorka money allegedly.
Well,
yeah.
Although they've gone bust, haven't they? Because they can't pay him.
Bankrupt him, but so he hasn't got anything, but the company's gone.
Have we got any predictions for the type of death that it could be?
See, I'm thinking like Hogan will be heart attack from all these steroids, and then Flair will be some kind of some kind of like kidney failure maybe from the alcohol, so something along them lines.
Yeah, I was going for cirrhosis of the liver for Flair, and maybe a revenge racist attack on Hogan. For Hogan, I don't know with Vince's demise. I don't know.
See, with Hogan, I think a vehicle will be involved of some sort. When he said, "How will Hulk Hogan die?" Car wreck. That's really morbid, but it's like wrestling Deadpool, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'll.
The Giant comes back in a monster truck from WCW.
Sergeant Slaughter had a monster truck, didn't he? Yeah.
What about Vince? How could Vince croak it? It's been alleged that he's blind. I don't know if that's true or not. Is that false rumour?
Yeah.
Maybe he could fall down the stairs or something like that.
I have visions of Vince going on the job.
Oh,
I don't want to get a picture of Vince on the job, but that's how I imagine him going.
fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't think he'll ever die.
Well, I thought it was Hulk Hogan that was immortal.
Yeah, true.
But maybe so. Maybe he does seem. Vince is hanging on, isn't he?
Yeah,
he is.
He's pushing it a bit.
Yeah.
How old is Vince now then?
Bloody coffin dodger age.
We'll find that out. Dan will look into that one. No, Kara.
Yeah, God bless Google.
Kara, our sound technician. He's easy. Got to be 70.
He was born on 24th of August 1945. He's 71.
Don't ask us to do maths.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
And he's taken some roids in his time as Vince. I mean,
yeah.
it was only a year or two ago. It was on the front of that fitness magazine.
He looked massive, didn't he?
Like groundskeeper Willie from The Simpsons.
Yeah. When he did the feud with Austin and he came onto the Rumble and he just went from like being not ripped to totally ripped.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that's our bet anyway. We'll see how that one goes. What we got next, Dan?
Next we have oh dear. We have Steve here who was training to be a wrestling referee.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Just wondering if you can tell us how that went.
How it went, or how it came about, or a bit of everything.
Everything.
Well, obviously, always been a wrestling fan. Right from I think it'd be 1980 or 1979, just to push another decade into it.
Glory years.
Yeah. What's now come to be known as World of Sport. Was it just Saturday afternoon wrestling back then?
Yeah, it was just wrestling.
Yeah, and it was on what was World of Sport.
Yeah.
Hosted by Dickie Davis.
That's
And
right.
then now it's become to be known as we know it, World of Sport Wrestling. So I've been a fan since then. And I started wrestling training at the age of 39, which is a bit of an odd. People say, right, most people when they have midlife crisis they go out and buy a sports bike or a sports car. I started wrestling, and how it came about was my youngest one, wanted to go to the training, so I took him along to the training, and I was watching it, and I was thinking, do you know what? I can actually do this, and it's one of those tick it off the bucket list that I've always wanted to try it. When I was growing up, and obviously there wasn't many opportunities to go to a wrestling school. There wasn't many around here, so I went there and I thought, hey, I've always fancied to go. I spoke to the trainer at the time, who was Nathan Cruz, and he said, well, just have a go, and if you can do it, you can do it, and if you can't, you can't. Let's see how you go on. And I started doing the wrestling training, absolutely loved it. I was going to the Monday night beginners, and then I soon started going to the Wednesday nights, which you was part of as well, Dan.
Yeah.
Became pretty apparent pretty quickly that I was never going to be a wrestler week in, week out, doing 6 shows a week because of my age, because of my injuries. So we discussed doing other things. I could have gone down the managerial road, been like the manager, because I could talk, and I could do the refereeing, and I thought, I quite fancy refereeing, so I had a go at that and liked it and stuck with it and just went down that route. But I still trained as a wrestler because I believed it was to learn how to do the moves, learn how the matches, then you have to know how to wrestle, basically, I think, as well. Do you?
Yeah, I watched you train quite often at the time, and I was in a bit of awe of you, really, Steve, because of your age, really. You know what I mean? It's like what you said about like the WWE not hiring anybody beyond 30, yet you started training at 39. You know, so that was ambitious to make it onto the WWE. But yeah, I was really impressed with how you did it, because physically at 39, myself personally, I could not have done it. I could not have done it. And I saw many people actually sort of like quit on the spot, and a lot of people probably don't realise how hard to be trained properly, how hard wrestling is. And I was going to ask you about one particular session I saw, it was the Marty Jones session. And the one I didn't really enjoy this session, if I'm being honest, as a spectator. Well, I don't think anybody did as being trained out there. Not that there's anything wrong with Marty Jones. He's a legend and he's a fantastic trainer, fantastic wrestler, and not saying that, but it was absolutely brutal. And what he was doing was reenacting his experiences in a Japanese wrestling dojo. And I wondered if you could share any of your thoughts on that, Steve.
Well, I've still got aches and pains from it, and that was about a year ago. It was just totally brutal. There's no other way to say about it. It was 90 minutes of just pure cardio work, and when I say pure cardio, it was constant. It was, this'll make Dan shudder, but do you remember the old quad sets?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just a like jog compared to these.
Really? Oh my god.
With the well, just going back to what you originally said about people don't realise the amount of cardio that's involved in these sessions, just generally. Like I said to Dan, we used to do the quad sets, which was 20 squats, 20 star jumps, 20 burpees with a push-up, and then 20 push-ups. So that, and you had to do that 4 times, yeah. And
something I do not
80,
miss.
so that's 80 star jumps, 80 squats, 80 push-ups and 80 burpees with a press-ups. Used to took about 20-25 minutes to do, and then you couldn't get in the ring until you'd done them. I once saw one trainee take 2 hours to do it, didn't complete it, got up and walked out, just couldn't do it.
They were an absolute nightmare. So it's like I don't miss that part of it at all.
Nah.
It was a nightmare. It was horrible.
Well, the Marty Jones one, he had, and there must have been about 6 packs of playing cards he had in this thing, because I've never known so many 10s and aces. Because what he does is he pull off a card, and they'll give you an exercise to do. Like my first exercise, I had to jump from the floor to the second rope, or if we struggle to jump from the floor to the second rope of the ring, then when I say floor, I mean the mat. From the mat to the second ring, we could do to the first. Nice, easy exercise. He says, right, pulled out, right, 2 of spades, so that means you do 2. So you do 2. Right. Then he'll go, right, king to 10, so you do 10. And by the time you finish, you could have done about 100 of these. It was one exercise. Right. And it was just soul destroying as well. I'd out and go, right, aces are high. Oh no. They'll go 1 or 2, and you do 2. And think, yes, 2. We'll do it real energetically. Then he'd say 10. And you go, oh, it was just so soul destroying. Then we went outside and did a bit of running around.
There was a football involved, wasn't there?
There was, I think, 2 or 3 footballs involved. And what we had to do was all standing like a big rectangle, and then just like rugby past the ball. I don't know why I'm doing that. People can't see it on the podcast. You had to rugby past this ball around this rectangle. Right. And then it chuck another one in, and one was light and one was heavy. And you had to, it was teaching you communication as well, so you had to say heavy, and if the ball was light. So, because if someone said light and just chucked everybody, so I did that, but then he started doing it where once you'd pass the ball, you had to do a burpee. But then what you had to do is pass the ball opposites and then run. Now once you pass the ball, once you pass the ball, you had to swap with your opposite partner and then do a burpee, and it just got more and more and more. Then you had to piggyback. I had to piggyback Manners, and then Manners had to piggyback me, and I went. That was the point. That was my tipping point where I just had to crawl inside and throw up. I'll proudly say I was about 40, 41 maybe at that time, and I wasn't the first to be sick. I believe Myers was the first. Myers was before me. And then there was some of the younger ones, but I think some of the younger ones, they were sick and they was laid out doing it. Well, I crawled in sick, got it all up and stuff, and then went back training, which is I think is the best way to do it. I don't know if that's just different work ethic nowadays, but yeah, got it up and then just went out, and I wasn't fine, but I was alright with that. But for 2 weeks after, I couldn't do anything.
Ooh.
You were there, Rick.
I watched it.
Solid.
I watched it, and it's all right laughing about people being sick and all that, but it's like you've got to have admiration for it. You know, it's like there's absolutely no shame because
I couldn't have done that.
Well, I think. I'm not exaggerating. If I had attempted it, I would have died. I don't like the modern culture of saying literally. Like that's like you watch Big Brother and everything's literally this and literally that. But I would have literally died. You were sick, and I remember your T-shirt being absolutely just wringing wet.
Well, there's a photo, and you can see it. The photo's like 2 shades of green.
Yeah.
What was the funniest thing about that session is when we went outside to do the ball throwing and was passing the ball, the old NGW Academy used to be next door to a dog training place.
Yeah.
And we're chucking these balls about and the dogs are going mental. The dogs they're trying to train the dogs and we're all chucking these balls about. These dogs are wanting to get and play with the balls. But yeah, there was about... If I say there was 40 minutes worth of wrestling at that's being generous. It was the stuff he showed us was brilliant that we'd never been taught because it was the old, the sport style, the grappling. Like he showed, he took one of the wrestlers down and he said, right, because you're a big lad, I'm going to show you this, and it was how to counter body slam into go from a wrist lock into a body slam counter.
Yeah.
And that was that we'd never seen that before.
Right.
And that was good. But he did a second session. I didn't go to the second session.
I was too scared.
Yeah, I was going to say once bitten, twice shy, but no, I was away. And it was Johnny Saint was there as well, and apparently there was quite a lot of wrestling involved in that one.
Yeah.
And Johnny Saint even put his boots on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I heard that he kept the wrestling to a minimal because he wanted to come back and get another booking. I don't know if that's true or not. But I was disappointed from that point of view. But I'd seen Marty Jones do his first ever training seminar with Dan.
Yeah.
At the salubrious Granby on the outskirts. Yeah, rough. Granby.
Dirty, greasy cheeseburgers.
Yeah, wallpaper hanging off the walls. It had a leak in the middle of summer in the roof. But Marty Jones was there. I think it was his first ever, new school training. He's always trained wrestlers, but he did seem a bit, and he did a Q&A which was brilliant at the end. But the bit that I loved the most, and I find it hard to describe, but he got in the ring and he had a tag match with himself, and including 3 invisible men. And so he had a tag match with 3 invisible men, and it was just the most amazing thing to see him go through the sequences of how you put a tag match together. It was just I struggled to explain how brilliant it was, but I watched it and it was brilliant.
Like some kind of Madman Manson kind of thing, but without the comedy.
There was no comedy.
Yeah. Do you like when he's wrestling an invisible person? Was it because I can't remember.
Well, he just went through the whole. A whole set of what all 4 people should be doing, and he took the different roles, and then eventually it came back to the first one, and then he says, don't worry, by now all the punters have forgotten what they've seen in the first place, so just do it all again, and he talks about wrestling in Japan and Calgary and Mexico, and it was just fantastic. But what I'd like to ask you as well, Steve, though, is about going back to the training. Was obviously you was trained to be a referee and have refereed on shows, and just if you can share some experiences of being training to be a referee and actually being a referee and what it entails, because I mean it's okay me saying this like I know it all and I don't, but it strikes me when I'm watching a show that it's not just the wrestlers that are important. The referee is crucial. A good referee is crucial. Same as a good MC, and just give us some insight into your training and your experiences at the shows would be good.
Well, the first thing that the teacher is obviously your positioning. Your positioning is key in the match, because your job basically is to be invisible until you're needed. now that might sound a bit odd when you're training to be invisible, but because at the end of the day, the match is about the wrestlers. It's the two guys in there telling the story. But like you said, the referee's there to play his part and to do his thing. So your positioning was the first thing I was taught. Work the horseshoe, as they call it, which for those that don't know what that is, there's a hard cam, usually a hard cam set up on a wrestling ring, and that's facing at one end of the ring. Now your job is to work the three sides that are not involved in the hard cam, so you're not got your back to the hard cam blocking the shot of the wrestlers. So the positioning was, to be fair, I mean, I don't want to blow my own trumpet or anything, but I thought I picked that up pretty quickly, the positioning, because once someone says, well, you just stick to the outside of the ring, stick to the corners and work the horseshoe, it all kind of came quite natural. I struggled, this is the daftest thing, the thing I struggled with the most was the counting. One, let me think of that, not that, but you have to count in a certain way, and you have to get the drama and the thing. So like, is just no good. You have to get your arm up, come down, and one, and be loud, two, and then so it was the big like dramatic. So you'd be seen. That goes against what I'm saying about not being seen, but you have to be seen at certain when you need to be. Is what I'm trying to say. So that was quite difficult to pick up. I mean, the whole thing was because I went into this just wanting to do a bit of wrestling training to tick it off my bucket list, as I said earlier on, and it was I kind of went down the road. Well, actually, no, I want to be involved, like I said, and let's do this. So I didn't go into this to be a referee. Which nobody gets into wrestling to be a referee. No one gets into football to become a football referee. Which it's everyone dreams of being the player driving the Ferrari. But no, I picked it up and it was quite good. It was daunting at first when I realised, because I thought, well, referees just stand there and do that, and I think most people do. Anybody can do this, but it's not. It's quite daunting once you get into it and you realise, hang on, there is more to actually being a referee than there is. Than just counting to three when you need to. The whole, like I said, the whole positioning thing, that, and then you've got to the end of the matches, any work plan spots that you need to know.
Timing as well.
The timing. You have to keep time as well, which a lot of I was told a lot of referees don't actually keep the timing and don't call times. Adam Bullsh, who I trained with, he was absolutely brilliant with me. Worked with me really closely. Even when I started doing shows, and he'd be giving me pointers. The first match I ever refereed was a Royal Rumble. It was a Rumble at
Hornsey.
No, it was the one before Hornsey, the one up north. It's not Spennymoor, and Newton Aycliffe.
Oh yeah.
And I was there, and he was there giving me pointers like what to do, how to act, and react to certain things. And I found Adam was absolutely brilliant as a coach and a mentor, keeping me through it. But yeah, so I'll go back to you have to learn, you have to know this. Like I did a full show once on my own, and you have to know every single finish before you go out for the half. So the first half, if there's 4 matches, that's 4 finishes you've got to learn. You've got to learn if there's any planned spots. So say like I don't know, Nathan Cruz Rampage Brown had a spot in it with a chair that was involved. And there was quite a bit where I had to, and it involved a ref bump and all sorts of stuff. Now I've got that in my head, and I've got to remember all them. But I've also got to remember what was happening with Liam Slater and Cyanide in the match before, and then the tag match.
And then like all the stuff that's going on.
So there is a lot involved with the memory side of it, and you've got to know. I believe it was at a Madman Manson seminar, which we can talk about in a bit, but he was the one that said to the guys, leave the referee, he's got to remember far more stuff than you guys have to do. And he's right, that was one of the hardest things as well, was just the amount you have to learn and you have to be aware of.
How many shows was you in before you was asked to do a ref bump then? Because I'd have thought that'd have been like later on that.
I've done a couple. I think because I'd actually done a bump before I was even a referee at the Airco Arena.
Yeah.
Rampage Brown leveled me. But I think because I do the wrestling training as well, and obviously I train to do the bumps.
Yeah.
Part of the training is bump drills, which you'll know yourself down there. You have to do 2 back bumps, 2 front bumps, and a flip bump. That's all in succession, and so I was trained to do bumps. So the bump part, I don't think they had any hesitation or any worries about me taking a bump, because that's what I do the training for.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of difference between taking a bump in the wrestling ring to taking a bump on the gym floor.
Yeah.
As I found out.
Yeah.
But I think I did a bump in my third outing at Beverley. Funny enough, my most of the bumps I've taken were at the hands of Sam Wilder. I just don't think Sam liked me, you know. In fact, every ref bump I took was by the hands of Sam.
Really, yeah.
I think he made me put in a request and said, right, Steve's referee and I'm going to level him.
Because there's nothing worse than a bad ref bump, you know. You see them and... but the good ones are great, aren't they? I used to like Al Hebner. He looked like he'd died, didn't he? Be upside down on his head and hanging in the ropes and all that. But yeah, and what else I was going to ask you about the refereeing? Oh yeah, the 3 count. Like, how do you the third of the 3 count? When you stop your hand and is that where you make a mistake? How do you what's going on in your mind there? You know, like if you make a mistake.
Well, you know the finishes. That's good because you've talked with the. I don't think we're breaking any rules now by saying that in this day and age.
Well, we don't. At the UltraViolent podcast, we try and steer away from insider stuff and swearing, don't we? But fuck it. get over with a boy, Steve.
Well, you work out that they tell you what the finish of the match is going to be and how it's going to go down. So, like if in one match, it's Liam Slater, which was the bizarrest finish to the match, and I don't know why it did. Liam Slater did a crossbody off the top rope onto Cyanide and pinned him for the 3 count. Liam is Cyanide. You see, is a massive, big bloke, and Liam pinned him with a crossbody off the top rope, and
right.
And so I knew that was the way that was going to finish. So I know that's my 3 count, and anything before that was just like maybe I just knew that was going to be a 2. Now what I used to do is because people used to go down and go 1, 2, and then stop the hand halfway down, like you said.
Yeah.
I used to follow through quite a few times. So go 1, 2, and then I'd come sweeping through. Because your hand would hit the floor, but then straight away you're calling the 2 count to the timekeeper, you're calling the 2 count to the crowd and everybody else involved, so they know it was only a 2. I mean, some do the thing, and I've done it as well, where you go 1, 2, and they've kicked up before you've come fully down, and that's how it is. That's how you do. But on somewhere it's close, where it's like 2 2/3 or 2 3/4, and you're down. Your hand's not going to stop, is it? And if you pause, then it shows that it's what it is. You know what I mean?
Plus, like when if the shoulder doesn't come up, you can still call a free, can't you?
And if they don't get the shoulder, because I said, well, what happens if they don't get the shoulder up for the 3 count? And Adam just said, it's not your fault, call it.
Yeah.
And I've seen matches where he's done that, and he's gone backstage, and the wrestlers have gone, you called it wrong. You didn't kick out.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one, I won't say names on this one, but it was for like a championship, and the person who was supposed to win forgot to kick out, and it was a big show, televised and everything, and they forgot to kick out, and the referee called it.
Yeah.
Because how do you not?
Yeah.
And I've seen Adam as well disqualify people for not doing. He's warned them. He's brought out the old public warning.
Yeah.
And they've still ignored him and made him look stupid. So he's disqualified him and thrown out the match.
That's how it should be. Yeah.
Which I totally agree with, because you've still got to you sort of maintain that legitimacy about it all. And
it's like I remember on one of the really early shows we did at the Eastmount, there was a match with two wrestlers, and I'm pretty sure like the match finished and it was kind of like, oh, why that was a bit like rubbish. It was just some crap normal move. Yeah, it turns out like years later, as like we've got like obviously setting up shows and like we became friendly with some other people. Turns out he just laid there and forgot to kick out. I mean, and like the bell rang and he was just laid there and he was like, oh yeah, I was supposed to kick out. Whoops.
Well, you've got to keep your referee strong because it keeps your match strong, you know. There's nothing worse than a weak referee. There's loads of things I hate about referees.
I hate old referees that can't bother to get down on the floor and just go 1, 2, 3, or just stand there. They don't even. I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate it.
If you can't do that, then you shouldn't be reffing anymore.
Yeah.
But by the same rule, as much as I hate old referees as well, on the other end of the scale, the Baker Grove referees, the referees that are 13, you know, and like the shirts hanging off them and all that, you know, the referee's an important job, you know. I always thought you looked the part, Steve, you know what I mean, and I was real proud when I saw you. I thought your debut was in Hornsey. I think it was probably your full debut.
My first proper match was in Hornsey. That was the day after, because I'd done quite a good job at Newton Aycliffe. Because I'd done a decent job there, I presume Rich gave me a chance to referee a match.
Yeah.
And that was actually quite good because it was my my eldest lad's birthday, and he was there with his friends, and none of them knew I was coming out to referee.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
So they all came out, and I came out, and yeah, that's where I made my debut. It was Dan James and Sean Only was the match.
Right.
And one of I watched that match back, and you know when you have those, why the hell did I do that?
Yeah.
Well, Sean Only Dan had him in the submission hold, and Sean put his foot on the rope, and I took Sean's leg off the rope. Nobody noticed.
Yeah.
And I took it off the rope, and it was Jimmy T said to me afterwards, he goes, oh yeah, you did really well, but you took Sean's. Why did you take Sean's? And I didn't know I did it. I just took it. Get off. I was maybe having my own little heel turn there. But and at the beginning of that match, I was like, right, yeah, because Dan was known for his submission holds and that on in all his holds, and he says he had him in the hold. I was like, Pete, do you give? He goes, my name's Sean. I went, Sean, do you give? But it went all right. And I was talking to him afterwards, and I said, yeah. He says, so how many matches is that you refereed? No, I went, oh, that was my first. So like, don't even worry about it then.
Yeah.
But I did, Alan, and I went back and I watched, because I'd watched the matches I refereeing if they were videotaped. And that's how you learn, isn't it? You become your own worst critic sort of thing. Alright, I've done that wrong, I've done that. And then I'd go to training, and Nathan would say, right, you did that wrong, or instead of doing that, did this. Myers would say, right, don't just go straight in. Like I used to go in with the counts in the corner, and it used to be quite quick, like 1, 2, 3. So Adam said slow it down, so I slowed it right down to give them time. Yeah. And then like Myers says, well, don't just go in and count 1, 2, 3. Go in there, say, right, bring him out the corner now. Come on, bring him out the corner. I'm going to count you. Bring him out. Let's give him a bit of time to work it over. And it's just stuff like that made sense. Stuff that just makes sense, but you don't. You're like, oh yeah, that's right.
There's like 1,001 things to put into a show, and you've got to get them all right to make a good show. And it's really, really interesting, you know, to hear your point of view on that. You know, but what was something else I was going to say about refereeing as well that I can't bloody stand? Oh yeah, generally speaking, in my opinion, ignore idiots with big mouths like me in the crowd. No, you acknowledge me a little bit, you know, just because, like, you know, but don't pander to me, you know, because I'll have you, you know. Yeah. Don't pander to the idiots, you know.
Well, you're taught to ignore because your job's not to engage with the crowd. Your job's not to get yourself over. It's to get the lads over, really. Yeah. And then you're there to do your job, just to count the shoulders or call a submission, DQ, whatever the result is. I'm glad you said about that, because one of the biggest things I hated was you'd go for a double down, or they'd be both out, so you'd be counting both wrestlers out the ring, and you go 1, and then the crowd would be going 2. You'd go 2, the crowd would go 3, and they're always one count ahead of you. And you're like, shut up.
Yeah, it's like I had enough.
And 1 fall as well. Don't get me started on that.
Whoa!
Oh,
Yeah.
that was like one of my favourite things watching some like British wrestling from like 2010. VR ring announcer goes, and this match is scheduled for 1 fall, and we were just silent.
Yeah,
Brilliant. I was just like listening to it, just waiting for this like 1 fall thing, and I was like, wait, what? Yes.
I like watching Stevie's face when he's ring announcing and go, this match is scheduled for 1 fall, and now the crowd go 1 fall, and he'll just die a little bit inside.
I can't stand it.
He'll just you see him shuddering. And, no, I don't like that. And there's a few other things that the crowds do as well, just to throw the referees off.
Yeah.
Well, my philosophy is that like the crowd's part of the show,
Oh yeah, definitely.
but not the star of the show. And people will know me as that big mouth idiot, which is fine. But I have my own sort of like principles and philosophies on wrestling, and as loud as I can be, I don't actually ever want to be the star of the show ever, and never. My number one rule is never ever go against the show, no matter how much you disagree with it. Don't ever go against the show, because all it does is it just confuses people and makes you look like a dickhead. So just within reason, if it's possible, go with the show. On occasion, it has been known. On occasion, like LPW, for example, it has been known for me to go. Well, but even then, I didn't go against the show because I was extremely vocal against a couple of villains. Had they been the good guys, I would not have done that. Even as bad as they were, I would not have berated the good guys. But I think on that given occasion, I was over the top.
The best thing about that story is when the Madman Manson seminar was on, one of those in question was there, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was a day after.
Was it?
It was a day after, yeah. And to be fair, I what it was to just give our one listener an insight. Is this guy came to the ring and he wasn't in good physical shape, which isn't necessarily a bad thing in wrestling, but he came out wearing Sannies, like trainers, and he just looked awful, and so did his tag partner. So I let it be known that I thought he looked awful, and that that if he didn't invest in his own character, why as a paying customer should I invest in him as a wrestler? And I did it loudly. But then, like as Steve pointed out, I did actually bump into him the following day, and I did apologise to him. But it wasn't an unreserved apology. What I said was, I can't apologise for anything I said because I meant it. And I still mean it. I said, but what I can apologise for is if I embarrassed you, because it wasn't my intention to embarrass you, but it was my intention to get my point across.
Yeah.
And I did.
Just touching what you said though about the fans not being stars of the shows, I kind of think with Progress they kind of are, because that's what I watch Progress, and I watch it for the wrestling, but I also watch it for the crowd, because their reactions to some of the, especially the stuff lately, when Nathan Cruz is on a match, they absolutely hate him. And it's not just we're going to go with the show and hate him, they hate him. And they make it known. And I think that's part of the charm of Progress. The fans there, they kind of make it a bit there.
But the shows like Progress, I've noticed, and a couple of others that are more like adult ICW type shows, that they're in the sort of like the passion in the crowd, the believability, that it's all done tongue in cheek, like the villains are
actually
villainous.
But it was kind of like, let's be wrestling fans and boo the bad guys because that's what we're supposed to do, but we secretly like them all.
Yeah,
it's not kind of like when like where like say it's like a crowd full of kids and there's some guy there and they like genuinely hate him. It's different kind of booze. In a
Well,
way.
going back to what you said earlier, Steve, about like the wilder sport era, or as we called it, the wrestling era of the 80s. Well, in my case, it was like the 70s and the 80s and the early 90s. The hatred was real. It was real. Because a lot of the wrestlers, whether there was the good guys or the bad guys, they didn't like wrestling fans at all. They really didn't. And boy, did they show it. And the fans didn't like the wrestlers either. I mean, some of the wrestlers were absolutely hated. I mean, like Giant Haystacks, he was totally hated. Fit Finlay and Skull Murphy, they're two of my favourites, but they hated wrestling fans, and wrestling fans hated them, and they were scary dudes. They weren't shy. They punch you. If they didn't like you and you was deemed to be doing something inappropriate, they would punch you. You know, no two ways about it. And I miss that, you know, but you can't turn the clock back.
I once met Giant Haystacks, and I was only a young kid at the time. He scared the living crap out of me.
Yeah.
He still had baked beans in his beard, but he was. My mate said something to him, and he turned around and went, "What?" I went, "Nothing."
Yeah. There was always in character, you know. I mean, Giant Haystacks, I've seen him wrestle so many times, but I've never ever once seen him enter a wrestling venue. He always did it, you know, under the cover of darkness, if darkness was there, and it was always at the back of the venue where the fans were, and there was always in character, you know. Only in recent times has that slipped. So, what's next on the agenda, Dan? Time's moving on.
Mega Slam Mondays is coming up.
Yeah, or the summer season.
There we go.
The summer season of wrestling. We're at Mega Slam Wrestling tomorrow night.
Oh,
Yeah, we are. It's the first one of the summer season, and we'll get a plug in for Mega Slam for our one listener.
Yep.
In case he's in the Bridlington area, we've got they're at the Bridlington Spa tomorrow night, which is July the 31st, and then every Monday, they're only there for 4 weeks this year. Every Monday, so it's the 31st of July. The 7th of August, the 14th of August, and the 21st of August. And also, they're at the Skegness Embassy Theatre, and they've already had one show. They've got 3 more shows, and that's on a Wednesday night at Skegness, and that's on the 9th of August, Wednesday the 16th of August, and then there's a gap. Then it's the 30th of August, and we're looking forward to a bit of Mega Slam. It's going from strength to strength.
Yeah.
I like the shows at Brid. The Brid shows, the Brid Spa shows they do are really good.
Yeah.
I like those. Cole's been doing quite a few for him, hasn't he? Cole Quinzel, he's one to watch for you one listener. Look, Cole Quinzel, I trained. I was there when Cole did his very first training session.
Yeah.
And he was real good. It got pointed out that he was real good at doing these uppercuts. So Dara did an uppercut on him and showed him how you really do it. Welcome to wrestling, kid.
And how old was Cole when he started?
I think he was 15.
Was it? Oh, I thought he was younger than that.
No, I think he was 15. He's one of the. When he started, I mean, I don't think he'll mind me saying it, but when he started, he was one of these that I just wanted to do 450s off the top rope. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a 450 off the top rope. I'm going to do a flying, leaping, triple salting thing like that. And it was because we did parkour, so it was really good, and he was really like agile,
right,
and he could do all them moves. But then he kind of, I think he got the feeling of like, well, I'm going to do a 450.
But why?
But how am I going to get up there? And it was all talking. I'm like, it's all right being able to do a 450, but you can't put a wrist lock on yet. So, and anyway, he's done that. He's gone through that, and he realises now that I've got to get to that point in the match where I can set this up. And he's come on. He's trained again. He's trained with some brilliant people. He's gone to a lot of the seminars, and he's worked hard. He goes every week, and it's paying off for him. So I just noticed he was doing a lot with Mega Slam.
Yeah.
It was on the Grimsby. What is it? British Wrestling Revolution.
Yep, we'll give them a plug as well. The Grimsby Wrestling, the return of our beloved Grimsby Wrestling.
Yes.
Colquhoun's always on there, and we're returning to Grimsby on the 19th of August at the Central Hall this time for the main event of everybody's favourite, the gatekeeper Simon Lancaster.
Yes!
Love Simon Lancaster.
Yeah.
I've not heard much of him lately.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Has he done any more promos on YouTube? They were brilliant.
I think so.
Cha 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 cha. He did one promo which was ace, and then he walked off with a couple of invisible barrels under his arms.
I go to the gym, and not everybody does that. Do you know, we was watching that, weren't we, when we were setting up for a show, and I think you turned round to everyone and said, well, you're all talking about it, so that's the point of it. That he's got it over well, hasn't he? We loved it. Yeah,
I love it. Simon Lancaster's one of my favourite wrestlers in this country. Just because he's entertaining. It's brilliant.
Well, he's got his work cut out on the 19th of August because he's against Doug Williams. So, good luck with that, Simon. Like, you know what I mean? But
should be interesting.
Yeah, and we've also got another match I'm looking forward to, which is tag match of Tyler Devlin and Tom Weaver versus Tel Bannum and everybody's favourite Bubblegum. So so that should be a good tag match. So we're looking forward to a bit more Grimsby wrestling, and I think they're also returning to Lacali's, the cricket club. We quite enjoyed it there.
Yeah, that was really good. That.
Yeah, it was a good show, wasn't it?
Quite a good venue, I thought as well. It was quite compact, and I don't know, I just liked it.
There was a decent bout of insanity, wasn't there?
Yeah.
In the main event.
God, that was it. It had like chairs, ladders, bloody superplex onto two open chairs.
Yeah, as you do.
A glass bottle, handcuffs, just everything. It had everything other than blood. It was ace.
Yeah,
my kind of match.
One of my favourites.
Was it your kind of match, Doug?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't actually. It wasn't actually. But there were, I'll tell you my favourite part of the show, probably. I enjoyed all the show, to be fair. I always enjoy Grimsby wrestling, every single time.
Yeah.
But the bit that I enjoyed the most, that made me laugh, was the guy, what was the skinhead guy called?
Hammer.
Hammer. He's got a new name, and he's playing a full-on skinhead character.
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, and he was involved in a triple threat. Now, what normally happens in a triple threat is they start for a few seconds, and one of them bails out, and then it looks a bit contrived where one of them's waiting and while the other two wrestle. Not this guy. He bailed out and went to the bar and got a pant. He downed it. He downed it and won. And I thought, well, that's great. That's probably what a skinhead would do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just bar this time, have a pant, then join in and finish it off. So yeah, big love for Grimsby wrestling though.
It was, as always, it's brilliant. For the one listener, you need to get yourself down to there.
Yeah.
They are really entertaining shows.
Do we know the name of our one listener?
No.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Hopefully it's Vince McMahon.
Yeah. Dan, on the same subject with Tyler Devlin and that, have you got any? You want to talk a little bit about hardcore wrestling?
Yeah, we've got a 50p bet between me and you for next Saturday, I believe, the 5th of August, which is Matt Tremont versus Onita, and the 50p bet is, I think it will happen. You think it won't, like Onita will no-show or something, or something along the lines of that.
Yeah, for our one listener, this isn't in the UK, is it?
No, this is our CZW in New Jersey. Yeah, New Jersey, I believe.
Yeah. So okay then. And no, I don't think it's going to happen, but it's looking like it will do as well.
Yeah, because it's still in meet and greet packs and stuff, and it's a week. Do you know what I mean? It's less than a week away now.
Why don't they think it won't happen? What's the?
Well, I don't, because it's been teased a few times. He's wrestled in America, but only early in his career as a standard wrestler. When he got fame in Japan, he's never travelled that I'm aware of, but it's been booked a few times at different points of his career, and they've cut promos, advertised it, done all sorts of things, and it's never happened. And
it was like booked against Sabu in the early to mid 2000s in XPW, and he no-showed that, I believe.
That's ironic. No, someone no showing for Sabu, isn't it? Usually the other way around.
Yeah. So we'll see. It's looking like it will happen as well. But like you described like last month as your Christmas of hardcore wrestling, didn't you? With
that was brilliant.
But now it's New Year's Day, isn't it? Because you've got the Nick Gage Invitational too.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising. It's like you have all the death matches, deathmatch tournaments that happen in like a month or two period, and like that finished, and then like we've just like gone ahead and announced the second Nick Gage Invitational tournament for September. So it's like all these deathmatch tournaments are finished, and we're just gonna have another one, and I'm just like, this can't get any better. Just another one. No reason why.
Well, aren't you the lucky one?
Can it get better, Doug?
I hate deathmatch wrestling. Although I've got to say that I have seen some decent stuff recently, forced upon me against my will. But I did enjoy a little bit of last night. Was it Madman? No, was
Nick
it
Mondo?
Nick Mondo. He was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mind him. And slightly fatter Nick Gage at the beginning of his career, he was okay.
Yeah. Spitting glass out his mouth.
Spitting glass out his mouth, as you do. Yeah.
I think I bailed on it when I saw somebody get hit with a lobster.
Yeah.
But I went through that where I'd watch deathmatch wrestling and then backyard wrestling and stuff like that. Because I think wrestling, you go through phases, and it goes through phases. Like I've not watched WWE. Raw or SmackDown in absolutely years, because I kind of went off it because of the way it was going and I was going in different directions. But the beauty of wrestling is there's always something different, isn't there? I started watching a lot of the British indie stuff, and I'll go to some of the American indies. Yeah. And then I will get back to watching WWE at some point. I did it. I fell out of love of it in '94. Well, in 1994 I was 20, so I had other things on my mind. I got back into it about 97, just in time for the Attitude Era. But going back to like when we were kids, we'd do backyard wrestling. We'd put up like the poles from windbreakers, tie 3 bits of baler band round them, and we'd have wrestling. But our backyard wrestling involved like 15-minute headlocks, and we won't be pretending to be putting a headlock on. We'd be putting my brother would be turning blue. And when people reversed it, they were like actual legitimate reversals because I was getting out of headlocks and doing it in. But now it's just jumping off a shed roof. And they're doing triple somersaults into glass windows, sheets of glass, because they think that's what Vince wants. Yeah. You're not going to get a WWE contract, because they see the thing, of course, I saw Mankind jumping off a roof onto some boxes and he got it, but that was a different time then, wasn't it?
What I've noticed is that in every show they had like one insane spot, but what they do now is they do a tribute, they put every insane spot in there, like they had the Weed Whacker spot at the end of one show. Well, that was in the Nick Gage one.
That was in Tournament of Survival.
Yeah, but they also had the meat hook in the back, which was also in there.
From the CZW.
And there was something else that they reproduced as well, all in one show.
Yeah, there was.
They actually put a meat hook through.
No, not one. There was...
like, do you know, like when we do the suspension thing, of a put like meat hook, like these like hooks through the back and then we suspend them.
On the joints of meat, the cuts of meat?
No, the wrestler's back.
Oh, the wrestler, the hook.
It's this thing that people do, I think it's called like body suspension.
Right.
We put these hooks through them and pull them up. It's like... I think it's like people that you know into like body modifications. It's like what they do, but like they did it years ago with John Zandig on a CZW show, and then we recreated it on this tournament this year. So it's got like Schlack hanging with like meat hooks out his back. It was
my word!
Yeah.
And I was complaining about someone being hit with a lobster.
Yeah. And they left Schlack up there.
Yeah.
And you just hear him swearing, saying, "Get me down here!" Halfway through the next match, just left him up there.
Yeah.
It's like when they used to put the managers in the cages, suspended them above the ring.
Yeah.
Look, we want to do the angle, but we can't afford a cage.
Yeah.
Stick some up through
Stick
your back.
some needles through your shoulder, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And we'll go a bit of controversy here, Dan. You wanted to mention Jimmy Havoc in the...
Yeah, I watched Tournament of Death, right? For quite a while, you've been telling me how crap Jimmy Havoc is.
Well, far be it from me. I don't think it's necessarily fair to name somebody and shame them, but that is true. And,
no, but I'm pretty sure you've mentioned it.
Well, yeah, I mean, what I will say is Jimmy Havoc's a far better wrestler than I'll ever be.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
But he is a bit rotten.
Yeah. No, see, it's like you've said that for like a few years now, and what my thinking was, like what I've always said was, yeah, but he's not trying to be a wrestler. He's trying to be a deathmatch wrestler. That's not, that's like you can't expect Johnny Saint to put on a five-star deathmatch, can you? Because that's not what he does.
Well, I was always disappointed when Andre the Giant never did a moonsault. But maybe you're right with my expectations. Yeah.
But so like that's like what I've always said. Like, but that's not what he does. Do you know what I mean? But after seeing Tournament of Death, which is the one that if you do death matches other than Japan, that's where he wants to be. He wants to be at Tournament of Death. And like he won the tournament. Spoilers. But he just came across that it was out of his depth, in my opinion. I mean, if he won't hear this, but if he does, he'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, but I'm a better wrestler than you because I get booked in America." But it's like, but as a customer, as a fan, I surely am entitled to my opinion as you would be if you bought some bread and you thought the bread was crap. You are entitled to your opinion as a customer. As my opinion as a customer, I thought Jimmy Havoc was a little bit pants, and he came across a bit out of his depth during the full tournament. And in my opinion as a customer, I feel he is the worst winner in Tournament of Death history.
Let's go controversial, Dan. Well, you bought a T-shirt, didn't you?
Yeah, I did buy the Tournament of Death T-shirt from that event, which I'm like, the shirt's cool. It's cool that it's got the two of the British guys over there. That was why I bought it, because I'm like, that's pretty cool. You know, they've flown two Brits out there and run the shirt. I'll buy the shirt because that's pretty cool.
Did you complain about the picture of Jimmy Havoc on the shirt?
Yeah. No, it's just, I don't know. CZW is not what it was. So,
it was apparent that he was out of his depth in that tournament.
Mainly in the Masada match, I felt.
Well, it wasn't so much the actual physical wrestling, I thought, although he did look uncomfortable. It was the crowd. The crowd sensed that he was out of his depth, that he was a notch below, and he was getting heat from the crowd, and not good heat, the disapproving what you're doing here type of heat.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, and then of course he went on to win it, which didn't really help, you know. Although he did get about, was it 260 quid for his blood-stained vest on
which
eBay?
is like pretty, like why would you buy that? It's like pretty disgusting. That.
Yeah.
Didn't you get somebody's blood-soaked pants?
I don't touch them though.
Oh right, you don't wear them.
No.
Well, we both actually collect wrestling memorabilia, don't we? And just for the record, none of us, we don't wear it, do we? We don't I don't go to Morrison's in me Adrian Street cape or what have you. We just collect it. We don't muck about with the gear, do we?
No, it's just like the way the full shirt was covered in blood. It's just kind of like, yeah, a bit would be like okay, but when it's like 90% of it's covered in blood, it's like I wouldn't even want to touch it. You know what I mean? Especially with like the old Abdullah the Butcher stuff, like what happened with him. It's like I don't know. It just makes me feel a bit, yeah.
Have we run out of subjects yet, Dan?
No.
'Cause- Haven't we?
Steve has some game.
I've got
Yeah.
I've devised a
You've got a
game.
game.
We'll pass it over to Steve as the only professional here. We'll throw it open to Steve.
Well, doing radio thing, I come up with a game. I used to do a game on one of the stations I used to do where we'd do like band names or something else. Someone else does it on mainstream radio as well. So he pinched it off me, of course. But this, we're going to do a game of band or wrestler.
Let Dan go first every time, because I'm going to get 100% here. So let Dan go first.
Well, what I'll do is ask Dan one, then I'll ask you one.
Okay.
I'll ask Dan one, then I'll ask you one, and then we'll go there. But I think you're going to do really well, because not only have you got a knowledge of crap wrestling names, you've also got a brilliant knowledge of crap bands.
I like crap.
As a connoisseur of crap, I think you will do very well at this.
You can put anything in front of me and I will watch it like a TV whore. Whether it's Prisoner Cell Block H, Neighbours. Well, I draw the line at EastEnders. I can't watch that. It's crap. But I will watch it. I do like crap music and crap wrestling. So fire away, Steve.
I'm actually a big fan of Prisoner Cell Block H.
Yeah, well...
Don't tell anyone. But the new series is brilliant.
Well, our Mystery One listener will not grasp.
Right, we'll start with a couple of easy ones. We'll go with Dan, then we'll do...
Yeah.
Kazani, wrestler or band?
Wrestler.
Of course, he is a wrestler. Former WWF. Dougie, terrorising.
Wrestler. Believed to be Triple H.
Yep.
Yeah.
A boy named Goma.
Band.
You only picked band because it was due a band.
What?
It was due to be a band. He's not going to do them all as wrestlers, is he? But yeah, probably right. I don't know. Go on.
He's going on law of averages there.
Yeah, law of averages.
Band.
Yeah.
Firebreaker Chip.
Wrestler.
From
WCW.
He was, yeah. Funny enough, when I was looking for the names of bizarre wrestlers, they all came up in WCW.
Yeah. Of course.
Naked Potato.
I want to say band. Band.
Band. It is a band.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Naki.
Wrestler.
It is Funaki.
Everybody's kung fu now.
Indeed.
Big Daddy Cum Buckets.
Wrestler.
It's a band.
Hey.
Schlong.
I don't know if he's any relation to Schlack. So like this, I don't know the answer to this, but if you've got a schlong and a Schlack, I'm going wrestler.
Band.
Oh!
Dan, Moxley Mox. Wrestler or band?
Wrestler.
It was a wrestler. Do you know who it was?
Dean Ambrose.
It was Dean
'cause
Ambrose,
John
yeah.
Moxley.
Regardless, this is just the best name ever. Jesus Christ Superfly.
It's got to be a wrestler.
It's a band.
Is it? Oh, oh God.
Dan, Arachnaman.
I want to say really crap wrestler from probably like the 80s. Yeah, wrestler. I've got a wrestler.
WCW's
Yeah.
version of Spider-Man.
I think he was Brad Armstrong.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
was
yeah,
he really?
Yeah, when I was looking up, yeah, he was Brad Armstrong.
Yeah.
The Final Solution.
Wrestler.
He was, yeah. He
Don't-
was.
Go on, Steve. Go on. I don't know.
He was in WCW, and he was brought to be the biggest threat to Hulk Hogan's title rail. Right? But then somebody told them what the Final Solution actually was, and went, "Oh, we better stop that then." And this, I'd love to say this is a very clever link, and a very clever, but it's just blind. Look how I put it on the list. Elvis Hitler. Talking of Final Solution. Elvis Hitler, wrestler or band?
I want to say band.
Band, it was a band.
Yes.
Dougie, Dan's actually in the lead now. Hockey Teeth.
Well, I think Nick Gage has got hockey teeth. Because he's been hit by a puck a few times. But I'm going to say band.
It's a band.
Yeah.
Loch Ness.
Wrestler.
Giant ace.
Yeah, it was, of course, giant air stacks, yeah. Kick-Ass Ernie.
Band.
Yep. Puke.
Wrestler, it's Droz, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's gonna
puke!
He's gonna puke!
So that was the one for Dan. Just a zone. Very mysterious ice cream.
Band.
Wrestler.
Oh!
It was. You know who it was?
Is it one of the lost ice creams from Chikara?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Cesaro. It's Cesaro.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well done, Dan.
Queer Wookie.
I want to say band. But yeah.
Band.
Yeah, band.
Ted Bundy's Volkswagen.
It's got to be a band.
God, you found that.
Band.
I was just counting up to make sure we're on even. Same band?
Yeah.
It's band.
Hey.
Right, so at the end of that, Dougie has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dan has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yes!
I had an extra one, but it was an odd one. G.I. Bro, would anyone have got that? Was that band or wrestler?
Yeah.
And it was Booker T's army gimmick.
Yeah.
Very good.
So yeah, that's my little quiz.
Well, very good, Steve.
That was
Dan the winner
Yeah,
there
it was.
even.
Yeah.
Real
A lot of fun, that.
It was because you don't actually. You think, oh, this is going to be easy, but then some of the band names, obviously,
yeah.
selectively picked.
What I'd like to say is I'd like to thank Steve for coming.
cheers.
No worries.
And one of the best things about wrestling is the people. When you get involved in wrestling, not all the people. Some of them are horrible. some of them are really, really horrible.
Yeah.
But some of them are good. And Steve's a good guy, and we're really thank him for coming down and taking the time. And we've been on quite a few road trips, and long may they continue. And we hope to see you at a show soon, Steve. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure. Right. And if you want me again,
yeah, sure.
Nah, that was a one-shot deal, Steve.
That's fine. Just because you lost.
Right, so that's it for this time. Don't know if or when we'll be back.
Have a good week till next week.
Yeah. Have a safe journey home. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the UltraViolent Rest Hold podcast. Please feel free to complain how fucking awful this podcast is and tell everyone to never listen to it. Thank you.